right, thanks for joining me on today's episode. Well, as you can see from the title, there is an addiction that I wanted to share with you. And that addiction is to video games. For, I reckon, probably now 12, 13, 14 years, I have known that I have a serious problem with video games. This first started showing up when I was playing Battlefield 1942. Now, this must have been around 2003, 2004. I was living in Melbourne and the game itself began to show the same effects on my life that any other addiction does. That it took over most of my time, that I would postpone everything, that I would run late for important meetings. It generally was not a great thing. Eventually, I worked out that I couldn't play anymore, that I had to stop. And that as I stopped Battlefield 1942, I experimented with other video games. However, it seemed to be quite a global phenomenon, that it wasn't just 1942, but it was also any other game that I played. That the pathway had been set up for dopamine rewards so strongly that any video game, including Tetris, including Snake, including the most inane video games, would trigger the addiction. And so I learned that I can't play. Now, this was okay until my kids started showing up with video games in their lives. And I wanted to be part of their lives, so I'd watch them play, and occasionally I would play. And one game that got in pretty badly was a game called Clash Royale. If you're not familiar with this, this was an evolution out of a previous game called Clash of Clans, where you would choose different types of troops. You'd have wizards and archers and barbarians and deploy them by tapping on the screen, and then they'd go in and try and beat up a base. Now, Clash Royale was an evolution of this where there was two sides, and once again, you got to choose your troops and deploy them. Now, this game got in pretty badly to me. It really did trigger the addiction, but it was a very difficult one to stop because it essentially was about how to effectively use troops together, what combinations would work, how to maximize the destructive capacity, how to resist against other combinations. This really got in very deeply to me. And I remember having to give it up, where I was just having this massive fight with myself about recognizing that I was in addiction, recognizing that the one thing that had to happen was delete the game. And yet the addict within me just pulling back, clawing back against me. I deleted the game and I haven't been back. I know that if I go back, it'll just trigger the addiction again. But what I have come to learn is that perhaps there has been a benefit to this. That this strategic seeking of effectiveness that came through Clash Royale is very similar to the increases that can be gained through effective managements of systems. The difference is that in Clash Royale, there is no benefit. There really is very limited chance for me to become a top 10 YouTuber for Clash Royale, which is possibly the only way that it would make money for me, that it would pay the bills for my family. And they're already extremely established YouTubers doing this. To break into that field, it could be, but it's not something that is going to impact the world. However, getting businesses to work better, getting businesses to work more efficiently and more effectively because they actually get their systems on point, this is an interesting conversation. This is very similar to Clash Royale, except it makes a difference in the world. And that really is the lesson out of this. The lesson that I want you to get is that entrepreneurs make a difference. It could be argued that the one group of people that have made the most difference in our world are entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs change the world. Like when you look at your world and you see the things that make a difference, guess what? They all came from an entrepreneur. They had the courage to say, you know what, I'm going to go to the marketplace and learn how to sell, learn how to market, learn how to advertise, learn how to fulfill, and do it effectively to actually bring that product or that service to the world. And it makes life better. From things like dishwashers through to electric cars, even through to Bitcoin and the decentralization of currency, information on how to live better, how to make my body work better, how to connect to God better, how to run my family better, how to run a business better. All of these things are being serviced by entrepreneurs, and that is of value. So I can choose to spend my time getting addicted to Clash Royale, or I can choose to spend my time getting addicted to making businesses work better. Because that is a skill set that can be taken to the marketplace and give a significant strategic advantage to those businesses that get this on point. Your capacity to scale past a certain level of revenue will be dependent on your ability to systemize your business, to have processes that get used by your team, that actually improve with time and can cope with the endless amount of change that we face in the 21st century. If this is something that you know you actually need to get on point, then I invite you to head over to systemio.dev. Go through the training there. At the end of that is an opportunity for you to have an initial consultation with me. We have a look at what's going on and where you are right now with your systems and processes and what that could look like and what the benefits for you are in terms of your revenue, in terms of your profit, and in terms of time available to you as the entrepreneur. All right, if that's what you know you need to go and do, head over to systemio.dev. Thanks for tuning in today. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you are a video game addict, then I'd ask you to weigh the benefits in your world. Is it just 2 hours a week where you celebrate your wins, or is it taking over your world? And would that time be better deployed into getting your business working better? All right, look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's episode. Thanks so much for tuning in today. See you then.